we overcame. And by the time we ended, everybody was yearning for more. So, if you remember, Shola committed her on air, and knowing her for her reputation, she has kept her reputation intact, and she's here.
Live and direct in the building. At a time where there are a lot of excuses, there's fuel scarcity, and there's traffic and all of those things. But when you know a professional, they keep to their words. So once again, just like we did last week Wednesday, please make welcome the one and only Bose Kaffo.
Good evening.
Kaffo,
Thank you for having me here again.
the first Nigerian, the first African, and the first black woman to qualify for Olympics 5 consecutive times in table tennis. I'll have to give this to her.
Thank you.
You blaze the trail and others are building on it and beating the record. I'm sure you're excited that people are.
Yes, I have.
Yes. Should we start this way? A recap of last week. Last week you were able to tell us you started very early in life as a kid. You even started, like you said, on the soakaway pit. And then on the bench.
Just like many people did.
Yes, and on the bench. But that by the time you were in primary school, some very good people discovered you and made sure that you kept to table tennis, they tutored you well, and you kept to learning simultaneously. And then you met some who became your mentors, you met some who were your seniors, you met some who were behind you, and then you ended up also coaching younger ones. And told us a bit about the story of the Olympics and your education. But when we left studio, a lot of calls came, a lot of comments came, and a lot of them felt we left some gap. Luckily, you had agreed to a second one. So, shall we do a further recap with you?
Yeah.
So, just in one sentence, what primary school?
Adegboyega Primary School. I went to Adegboyega.
But she went to a couple of schools.
Yes, that's what she's struggling to.
Pastor-
Please explain it. You
Pastor
don't know.
Adegboyega Primary School, that was in K2, and then from there Agidi Secondary School in Alapere. Then from there I went to Surrey Girls Secondary School. That was New Era School.
All primary schools, right?
Primary secondary.
Okay, secondary.
And then that was when I finished, and then I faced sports. Then after a while, I was in Java Tech to do dressmaking. So
Wow.
in my lifetime, I know how to pick dress, how to pick materials, how to sew to a certain extent. And so I was, after then, I was so committed to sports.
Okay.
And there could be a distraction between academics and sports
Especially when you go professional.
before you go professional.
Even before you go professional.
Even before,
Wow.
and that is where most of us got it wrong.
Mm.
It doesn't matter whether I am here today or anything, we got it wrong.
Okay.
So that is what we need to harness now and correct, or correct and harness. This is it. If you are incorporating sport into education, you are bringing sport into education, meaning that you have fantastic athletes, then you are now trying to now make sure they have education. We need to do it in a way that the two would not be lost at the long run, because those athletes, do we actually have any binding even with the state, even with the club? I may be playing for a club, I may not have a legal binding with the club. So then there was no legal binding except that we are playing for Tilda, we are playing for NEPA, Nigerian Electric Power Authority, and some are playing for Labour Brothers, some are playing. But we don't. Some are playing for Sky Power. Those are the clubs that went to America. Those ones. But after that, what become?
Please, before
Of
we
course.
go to what become,
Yeah.
you mean at that time
Yes.
there were various clubs
Yes.
that the youths playing table tennis will fall into,
Yes.
and so
yes.
they play
A
amongst themselves, and then
lot,
they
a
are
lot,
competition, and then they
yes,
develop
so,
themselves.
So the clubs,
Do we still have them?
I don't really think so.
So now, so that's a missing link we must
Yes.
correct.
So
Okay.
during that time, if I could remember, there was no legal binding, but there was what I called like a slight developmental program,
Okay.
because but the education will just be you need to go to school. But I was so fortunate because of one woman,
What's her name?
Opalauka.
Wow.
She took me like, oh,
I
you,
know.
it seems you are good, but
She was the secretary?
she was our secretary then.
Hmm.
And she would say, oh, boss said, you cannot play until you tell me about your school. And I will be shivering like this.
You have come for training, but you must
But
start
I
with
must-
that.
How old were you then?
I was 13. 13, and I'll be looking at that. I don't know what I said, okay, take it easy. What time do you want to play? You will not play until 4 o'clock, but I will give you ball. So she made me feel like whenever I need to do something, I must have done something. She must see me that I came in. She will see that I left before her. Meaning
Great
I
administrators of home.
cannot leave before 5:30, and after at least from 5:30 she wants me to be
On your
dressing.
way
Yes, on my way home, and she want to make sure that by 4 o'clock that I have already been playing as a secretary. So we need people like that.
Okay.
Not some God help secretaries that will come inside. You know, many things will come on.
Just for the popularity of the office.
It's not for popularity. People must know that, look, certain things are just bad. Even if you will have your girlfriend in the camp, your girlfriend should not be where I'm collecting my allowance. All those nonsense, we experience them. And when you try to talk something about, it's like we will drop you, you know. But you have left it so bad that we can talk about it. So right now, that missing link should be here now, because you can see what is happening. That we cannot even win 5 gold medals outright.
At the
But then,
African Games
yes, African game
or
whatsoever.
Commonwealth Games or whatever.
Commonwealth game is even superb, but African games, African championships, what are we talking about?
But we used to do that
We
then.
used to do that then. So what is really missing? That many of our athletes are not into academics, and they are not winning. To win, even some, a lot were in the academics, and they were winning a lot.
And I remember that sometimes last week, I think you mentioned the fact that there was a particular stretch of time where in the female team, Nigeria was undefeated.
Yes, that was about, I'm talking about whatsoever year until 2008. We always, before I met the Laomema Jekodum, they are
Those veterans.
those ones. You have Yabo Akomu, Owolabi, Laomema Jekodum, then one other,
Ngoreton.
all those ones. They have already defined the foundation where we supposed to stand. So whatever always happened then, it was like Nigeria, Egypt, it was not so clear, but we still come out to have maybe 4 gold medals. They would have, at least 4 5. Then during the time I joined and some others, then we started have, at least I know I was in a team that won 7 out of 7
Wow.
for like maybe 20 years.
Wow.
That is
Awesome.
for all Africans. So it was a fantastic time. But we never had a government that would give us 25 million the way they are giving the Tigress.
So there's a message from Nigel Cloud, and it says, she made waves while I was a child,
Wow.
alongside Olawumi Majakudumi,
Wow.
Kuburat Owolabi. Those days of Omo and Bonvita
Omo,
tournaments
Bonvita
and everything.
tournaments, yes.
This is from Nigel Cloud.
Thank you, Nadia.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Nadia.
Like we were actually talking about what link could we put back or could we remove to join certain things.
I actually wanted us to establish something that is constant before we get to
Yes,
the
it-
link of,
Yes.
you know.
So-
So just like many may be looking at you now or already have you as a mentor
Yes.
or someone to look up to, you must have had those you looked up to
Yes.
then,
Lot of them.
male and female.
Female.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. For example, like I would have loved to let the present athletes know as secretary of Nigerian Athletes Commission.
Okay.
This is one thing I would like them to know. It is not necessary that you have your mentor, someone you look at in the same sport. No. For example, I was so fortunate to have Olagbegi, you have
In tennis proper,
yes,
not tennis
Falat,
then.
yes,
Falilat, the
Okola.
athlete.
Yes, I still have her.
Yeah.
So those
They're
ones,
still close.
those ones, like you can, if I call Sister Valencia, she will just say, wọ́n ṣe báwo ni ṣé o ṣe jọ̀gbọ́n? Imagine, this was what she used to tell me about 25 years ago.
And she's still saying it
She's
now.
still saying it now. And you know, so you need, it's not that they want to checkmate you. You
But
just
they were-
need
they
some
were like your
people.
guardian angels.
Yes, just one.
So do you remember some of the males? I just want you to throw back for those who are not yet born or those who are old enough but can't remember.
Fatai Ayinde.
Fatai Ayinde?
He was
Awesome.
left handed. I would say, Ishan, come here. She'll take a walk. Don't really. You have to study. You know, you have to study. You have to. So don't just sit down and then I was wondering, but if those people, if they are playing on the table,
Mm.
you just want to sit down and look at the way they play. It's not like now.
What was the difference?
The difference was these ones, they have head.
Thinking.
They are more matured.
Mm-hmm.
And the rivalry then was based on skills.
So finance was
I
on
could
showcase.
remember now that it was the skill. How Atlamosa was using the forehand all over, the boom, boom. How Yomi Bankole will now stand.
It was very defensive.
It's defensive. You can say defensive, but how? It's because people talk about defensive language. Defensive, but attacking defensive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he can top spin, he can use the backhand top spin, he can block on the table, he can serve well, he can hold the ball. Musa cannot hold the ball. Then you have Sunday Hebo.
Wow!
The way he
I
plays.
remember. Sunday
Then you
Hebo.
have-
Tall
you have
and
Sule, the other Sule.
I-
Was it Sule Olale?
No.
The one before
No,
him?
The one before him. You need to see those guys.
Why they kun?
Why?
Titus
my God,
Omotara.
I paired with them. I actually paired with all of them.
Mixed
except,
doubles.
The Sule, the other tall Sule, and then Ebo. So
What about Master Kankamusa?
of course it was my first.
No, they actually won gold medal.
Yes.
They won medals together.
Yeah, we paired. So you have those ones, and but I was more in tune with Ayinde because it talks to me not every time. You know, I was the youngest then, and he didn't make the team all the time. Even the time I came in, he was no more in the Nigerian team. He was before, but not when I was there.
But he was still coming around
He was
to
always
train
coming
and
around
play.
to train, to play, and that was.
Was he
when
also
just-
coaching in a way?
No.
He was just playing with
You
you
know,
guys.
we had
They were motivators.
the likes of late coach Oduto and the other coach now. I will remember him. He was the.
This
coach
was in the
after-
80s now.
This was the 80s. So coach's job was so specified
Okay.
to those that can do it,
Okay.
and it was just like they are in the national.
Hmm.
So when you are coming, you should know your stand. And that is how it's supposed to be. And that is how you can start a developmental program. That is, there are some coaches that are good with the youth, the small girls, the small boys that are mean from 6, 7, 8 years old. And other coaches can take them over, and another can take them
Now I remember what you said
Another
last
can
week.
take it
That some people are so blessed that
that
they
can
are
do
best. You will get it from them when they are
Yes.
coaching
certain
those
group of
toddlers.
people. Yes.
But don't try to promote them outside that class because they
yes.
will not do well.
Yes, but
But
that
they-
doesn't mean that you should change them. You
Cool.
still need to pay them.
Cool.
Well,
Well, like yeah.
you still need to pay them. But I don't know how they do it. Yeah. But then those links there, I don't know because I'm not really inside table tennis right now.
Okay.
But if I'm looking at it from like I'm looking at it or I've looked at it, it's like what is really going on? For example, our women, I'm a woman, our women, what's really going on? When the likes of Dr. Cecilia Ariye, Owolabi, Iyabo Akomu, Sister Tom, she was just, what is happening to our girls now? So what is really happening? When they were going, we beat
were
them
ready.
out.
Ooh. We told them it was time to retire on the table.
We beat them out. And they were glad. And they will even be saying, oh, this one will beat me now.
The
But
future-
let's
the
see.
future
So-
was bright
so it's
for
like,
them.
It's like if they could defeat me, that would be like an upset. So defeating them is not an upset.
So, but are you saying that when you were going to transition from player to coach, administrator, academic, they didn't beat you out?
I actually stopped.
Really?
I
It
think
was
you-
different from when the older generation were living. In your own time, you stopped.
I just stopped.
I think-
wasn't, I wasn't playing.
I think she must be perfectly right. You know what I say?
Mm-hmm.
I have heard Funke Oshonaiki
Yeah.
say more than 2 times now, including when she was beating the last Olympics, that when she comes back and she's still able to beat them, that's why she's staying.
Yeah.
Because she's still fit. It's not as if that she's wondering why
We
young ones cannot beat her and make her retire.
we had this discussion. I think I was on a TV station and I was being asked, oh, how come Funke was going to go to the 7th Olympics and blah, blah, blah. And I just said one thing. I said, she came home, played the qualifiers and won. It was not handed to her. If at her age, she's in her 40s, she can still qualify to represent Africa, because people don't understand that she's representing Africa. If she can qualify to represent Africa, that means the guys on ground are not ready, you know. So that's how.
I guess we can get it wrong.
Okay.
For example, in England,
Yeah.
about 15 years back, before the 2012 Olympics, let's say 18 years now, I was among those coaches that did performance analysis on certain players. Those players
For the English
for
team.
the English team, those players are now the number one. Most of them may be between
Top players now.
top players in Europe. This is what happened. We know you can win in England. We know you can defeat anybody in England, but you cannot win a medal in Europe. Meaning that if you have other young players, they will still have the same result as you. So what is the need that we'll be spending money on you? So we want to put our money on this youth, 8 years old, 10 years old, and 14 years old.
Because they still have a long
Yes,
gestation.
I was among those
you nurture
coaches
them.
that took my own group of 8, 10, 16 to Luxembourg.
Wow.
And those ones are the ones that won Nigerian men's team in France.
They beat us.
In
Abi?
2000, they beat Nigerian team in France in 2016, I guess.
Mm.
No, in 2000, I think 2006 something. So it was just like we can put our money where we know that we could have equal results if we put our money on you. But we can have better results on the other side if we cannot win the World Cup, if we cannot win the
European
some
Championship.
part of the European Championship, because you have a lot of competitions there than in Africa. So, but we want to win the cadet, the junior, at some point. Then we grow up to win, for example, the Commonwealth, because they know the Commonwealth countries are not as strong as some of the European countries.
True.
So what are you training for?
So let me ask you a cheeky question. At that point in time that England called you, to coach and prepare those 6, 8, 12, 16-year-old, and then you people got to, was it Luxembourg, and then met Nigeria. How did you feel? Did you feel like
We actually didn't we did not play Nigeria because it was an European competition. And I was one of the coaches. But when we were having the World Team Championships,
Okay.
I guess the World Championship in Paris,
Okay.
then Nigeria men played the English men. I guess they were grouped in the team. The English people defeated. And the boys, 2 of them were my boys, and they were under 16. So, table tennis is not about age, it's about the skills. And it's not also about the talent at some point, because talent is actually different to skill. You can learn the skill, but you cannot learn how to be talented.
No, you don't. It's not
Now
possible.
it's divine, right?
It's innate.
Given.
Yes.
by
So,
God.
those ones, they train for the skills. The skills of table tennis, just like Aruna right now. So age is not the extent of it. If you're talking about age, you can go and bring a Chinese player of 16 years old, beat everybody. So it's about the skills and about the tenacity of the player.
Wow.
Apart
Do
from,
we have
apart
that
from
in
the,
Nigeria?
apart from the origin of the game, now that you mentioned China, why are they so good? And why are they still consistently on top?
They will still be good. For example, the Asian, the crop of Chinese, Korea, North Korea, and you have just
All the
the
countries
in
that axis.
Singapore,
That area,
Singapore,
Thailand.
and Thailand, and
Taiwan, all of
Taiwan,
them.
and then you have
Hong Kong, all
Hong
of
Kong.
them.
Yes, Hong Kong used to be a Commonwealth.
Yeah, but now they're in China.
Than China, because I know that the first World Women Championship that I went to represent Africa, it was in Hong Kong, and I never collected any visa.
Yeah, because it was a British colony
British
there.
colony then. Then after that, it's now
China.
the Chinese country. So I guess that apart from those countries, they are taking table tennis, or they take table tennis as like a job. So if I am going to bring my child to come and play table tennis now, there must be a contractual thing.
Agreement.
Between the parent of that child and the state or the
Council or
the tennis council or what?
The society, the community that they are about to represent.
Okay.
Are we doing that?
And that's what China did, and that's what they are doing.
For example, the Chinese can take a child from 6 they would have been training the child, even the father, even the mother, because table tennis is their number one sport.
It's like football for them.
Just like basketball in
For
America.
Nigeria, yeah.
The football is not our number one sport. Even though
In Nigeria?
everybody play
You don't go into controversy about
football.
that.
Football is just because the availability to play it.
So what's our number one
Remember
sport?
that table tennis was before football.
Hey, that was
and
our own
because
generation.
weight is because you can kill a sport indirectly and hop another sport. For example, people were shouting, Super Eagles, they're going to win a medal. And they are not yet supposed to win the medal. What have that done to the economy? But when you see table tennis, in about 25 years ago, in every street of Lagos State, you have a table there. And you have people playing table tennis, for God's sake.
On every surface
On
available.
every surface
The
available.
living room,
And we don't even have
the dining table.
Table tennis. And
So
so I'm not saying,
Guilty as charged.
I'm not saying football is not good. Football is fantastic. I have friends there. I have a job prospect there. And but I'm just letting you know that if you say that is the number one sport, what quantify it to be a number one sport?
Now it is. Now.
Why? Why is it?
Statistically,
We agree that they killed some other sports, but it is. Until we bring back the one that we killed.
It is number
But
one.
I understand what you are saying.
How do you group a sport as number one when a sport is only winning one medal
Okay.
and the other sport is winning
if you look
two,
at the
three, four
economy,
medals?
if you look at
And wait,
jobs provided,
and then how will you say
investments.
that? How will you say that a sport is number one when you know that if you want to play football, you're supposed to have field in Lagos State, about 50 fields.
But you know, football you can
And
play.
it's supposed
You
to
can
be
play it on the
walking.
street. You can play it on the street.
You can play on
You
the
can play it,
street,
you know,
but it is
in
not
the
very.
mud.
It is not so very to play football on the street. If you can play football on the street, can you play it in your room?
No.
You can play table
But
tennis
you know what
in your
we do?
room.
Boss,
We play it
you
in
know
the
what we
living
do?
room.
Yes.
Boss, you know what we do?
Your dining table can even be a table tennis board.
Boss, you know what we do? We drop this because it always be controversial. I agree with you, your point of view.
You have to.
That the thing is this.
And we have 30
The only,
minutes.
the only reason is because that's why they pump, even the commercial people, that's why they pump money more
Money,
than
yes, I understand it.
okay.
Yes, well understood.
But can you tell us a bit about your period in the professional circuit?
Oh.
Many people don't know
Well,
that bit about you.
the professional circle started when I actually went to Italy.
Okay.
So in Italy, I played for Messina, and you have to play table tennis every day. You have to train for table tennis every day. It's like eating, drinking,
And they're paying you for
waking
it.
up, and they are yes.
You're a professional
Awesome.
league player.
A professional league player in Italy.
Which
But-
division
but
were you in?
I was playing Division 1.
Top division.
Top division. I played top division all throughout my
You're
lifespan.
professional.
Yes. Now, my professionalism was not well defined in Italy. It was
Okay.
until I got to France.
France, yeah.
Wow.
And in France, they say en France, I played my life out
Wow.
because that was where I was able to sign a contract. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to have something for myself.
Bon. Am I saying it well? Bon, good. Bon. Ça c'est bon.
Ça c'est bien.
Ça c'est bien. Okay.
So at the,
You're
at
not
the,
going
at
to
the,
at the-
at the,
Don't
at the
bite your
end
tongue,
of
bro.
it, at the end of it, I now know that I wanted money. So
As a professional.
as a professional, that you want to earn money, it was like a pride that I'm playing at this level and I want to command this. I was the 4th best foreign player
In
Wow.
France.
in France. We went for a competition. I was number 1 because I won the cup.
Wow.
Okay, but
They
a
have-
little bit of clarity. You played in Italy for how many seasons?
I guess 2 to 3 seasons
Then you moved to France.
to France.
Were you headhunted or did you offer yourself? How did you?
To France, it was it wasn't like football
Yeah.
that they will come to, like table tennis is not like football league that they will say, oh, we have this. No, you will want a club. You say, I can play in this club, or if there is a need for a player. So there was a need for a player.
So you took the job.
So
Which team did you
Yourself.
go to?
the first time I went to was in Eshiro.
Okay.
Eshiro was in East, well, was very close to Switzerland, was very close to Lyon.
Okay.
So, and they were in Pro B, that is the second
Division
They
in
want to go
France.
to fourth division. So
Okay.
that was when I joined them, and we went.
And you
to,
helped them.
And I have to know that help. I have to win because it was a job. If you don't do the job well, they will exchange you.
Okay. So from there you went to which other club in France?
From there, and I went to Paris. I went to another big club in Division 1.
Right.
Then I stayed 2 years. Then that was when I wanted to study.
Okay.
So it was just like I never prepared for anything.
Okay.
I was thinking that I would just have something to do, just to have a qualification. you
Something to
know,
fall back on.
Something to fall back on at least. Then I realized that you can't make more money in table tennis except you are at the top level. And I still wanted to play table tennis. I love table tennis.
Okay.
And
I can see it on your face. You still
and-
love table tennis.
of course I will. And then I realized that the aspect of coaching, when I went to England to study, I was still playing in France. So I was shuttling within France and Metz.
Okay.
No, I didn't play for Metz. I actually played for another base club in it was very close to Paris.
Okay.
So I played, it was in Division 1.
Okay.
I spent 2 years then. That was where I was, that I decided I wanted to go
Go and
to
study.
further
Study.
on, because I was actually doing Microsoft certification.
Okay, a lot.
And then they
Wow.
told me that since you speak English, it would be good for you to go to London and do the certification and come back with certificate and have a better job. I love the French.
Okay, before we go further into the educational side of it, can I get a quick clarification or education, if you like? In the professional setting of, say, football, I'm trying to run away from football because I don't want us to always play that game. But in table tennis,
Yes.
the professional circuit,
Yes.
apart from the agreed fees that they pay you, salaries and everything,
I was saying
your
everything.
health, your insurance during the period, is this also taken care of by the
It's
club?
always, yes, everything.
So if you want to do it right here, we must borrow every aspect of it, not
Yes,
just I pay
not
the
just
guy.
I pay.
That's
No,
all.
no,
If
no,
he
no,
likes,
no.
let him get
You
injured.
have to. No, that is not the issue there. You have to be under. You have to be under maybe one insurance or the other. The club might have one. You might choose to have another. If they can pay, they will pay. If not, you join the club one. But they will never leave you. It is not done anywhere. That is
So-
part of a contract.
Okay, so back to England now, and then
So,
you started
so I
education.
now thought that I will just go for a small course. So they now say, okay, fill this form. That's when I say, table tennis, your hobby, table tennis, table tennis, Nigeria, table tennis, and then you want to do this. Where do you come from? You want to do what? How do you know it? You know. So, but my journey was humbling,
Okay.
and it will always keep me humble. I wasn't perfect. It was just like the father.
So we have a message from Jordan on YouTube. Adebayo asks, that's obviously Adebayo Oluwake, and he says, good to be able to join here, watching from Jordan. It's nice to be able to watch Bose Kaffo share our experience once again. Thanks, Boom Radio. That's from Jordan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bayo.
Thank you, Bayo. It is nice just to say that people can actually tune in. So I will be humble. I need to be humble. life hasn't been fair, but life has given me another opportunity in life. So it's not about going to school, like I was saying earlier, or like I said earlier,
Off air.
off air, and I'm going to repeat it.
Yes.
Yesterday, I just had a story that also they are on strike, and a gentle lady was
On
giving-
radio.
On radio, I was in the shop to buy something in the supermarket, and then she was so bitter. She was telling us so that it was even better that they are on strike. They could take some time off. They need it. However, did our government cares about education? What is even in there for education? Education is no more a priority. That is just what you just need to get the certificate. But I felt pained because these are end earners of Nigeria tomorrow. And if we that will have spent our lifetime in sport also have an education. So are we going to be saying that we are not?
That it doesn't matter.
That it doesn't matter.
Whatever you have
A
qualified
priority,
for
whatever you have qualified
does not
for
count.
Does not count. It's so painful, but I am still going to keep myself under the shield of humble situation because it is tough. I might have had the opportunity to study abroad, but that doesn't mean anything if you are not productive.
Or if you don't have the
If you don't
opportunity to
have
be
the opportunity
productive.
or you don't have the opportunity to be productive. That is why going on strike, people are thinking, what will happen to me if I can't get the certificate? It is so difficult. Now, you want to tell somebody who wants to play table tennis to now go to school.
Wow.
They will tell you, do you want me to go and sit down at home? So this is where we need to come back and say, what is really going to help us to develop people? That's why you also have people trying to travel out. You have a lot of athletes that they wish to travel out. I will say if I have the opportunity, I will take them. It's not because of the economy. It's because of how they can get better in their chosen sport. It helped me. If I had been in Nigeria, I would have been like some other girls. Just like another girl there.
So
we
what
don't play table tennis as though they play over there. So we need to play table tennis as a career, as a job.
So there has to be a structure.
There must be a
Because if
structure.
there's no structure, there's no path to follow
There is no.
consistently.
Yomi, Okpakunle, Bose Kaffo, everybody in studio out there, you're still listening to the Legend series of the Boom Bar on Boom Radio NG. Amazing viewership out there on Facebook. We're getting a lot of balls here and there. People are watching and they are listening. But we want to remind you that we have Bose Kaffo in studio with us, and no matter how much we try, we would not be able to cover the entire
We will
story.
only
But
be scratching the
we will
surface.
do our best because we had to ask for this extra session. However, you were getting a little bit emotional, and I want to tap into that emotion.
Okay.
You talked about life not being fair. Now, some of us are privy to some of the things you went through.
Yeah.
If you do not mind, we would like to talk about those things. But before we get there, Yomi Okpakunle was taking us on a chronological journey through what has been Bose Kaffo's life. And we got to the point where you have told us how you were able to marry your career with your ambition to be educated beyond the basics. Microsoft certification, then degrees followed. You studied outside Nigeria. Your first set of degrees are outside Nigeria. If you don't mind, take us through that journey.
Okay. I will
It's obvious again that our guys, then before they come, and we know they're watching and listening, we will exceed 1 hour again. We know. Don't beat us. It's not our fault. Bose's story should be shared with the world.
And when you have a legend, you take the utmost
You remember that yesterday we spent 59 minutes. We did not overrun. Dear Oga, I know you are watching. I know.
So let me just say this.
Yes. So
I was
the
told,
educational.
Yes.
Yes.
I was told by, I don't know which author. He said when you step on the road, you don't know how long the road can be or how rough it could be. But if you keep yourself focused, you will surely see the end of it. I never knew how education would shape me. But I have seen how sports could shape mankind. So you have the right to swing, whether you make the money, you want to invest that on yourself, or you want to make the money and maybe you enjoy the money. I read something on the online about one former
Footballer.
Who
Was
we
an
actually went
Olympian.
to Atlanta together.
Yeah.
And he he was a bus conductor.
He is currently a bus driver.
And he said something. He was advising that athletes should keep money. If you have asked him then to go to school, it will be as if you don't want him to read.
To thrive.
Do we have that scholarship again? It was the scholarship I had in 1987 that they gave gold medalists that I was still jumping on.
This was from the federal government.
This was from the federal government. In fact, it was from the trust fund. Trust fund.
All those things are gone.
And it is not that I enjoyed the full scholarship. I could only be given the tutoring money. So the maintenance, other
accommodation,
things,
everything.
I had to work myself, play in France, come back to the UK to pay it. But I thank God that I could manage through it. And I'm encouraging any other athlete there
To do it.
that look, do it for your life's sake, not for anybody's sake. If Nigeria lies, they can call me to do anything. If they don't, my Gary is not missing at home.
I love that.
So, and I am always willing to give if I have the opportunity. So the journey was not like, oh, she will live abroad, she played. I will play in France. I will work in the UK to make that end meet. And then I will pay the tuition and everything. Then later everything started to walk into place. Then I took it from there. I now see that, okay, without this, I cannot move further. With sport, I could stop, which I did, because I knew playing like a woman, you have to be at the apex every time. And it's not helping. If I coach, I have more money, so I went further on my coaching. Then with the sports science, I was never good on sports science, but fortunately, if you don't want to fail, you are paying this much of money. You have to. It's not that I was a fantastic. No, it was because God helped me, and I put myself there.
Okay. So you did sports science, right?
I did sports science
As a degree?
As a degree. I did it as a
Masters?
Yes, sports science.
And then your second master's is what?
Sport art, master in art, sport integrity.
Okay, integrity.
Integrity.
So you're an integrity officer.
I'm a qualified integrity officer in the world right now.
So what they call corporate compliance.
Yes, compliance, fairness, everything.
You are adept at it.
Yes, against corruption, against fraud, against manipulation.
Because drugs
you actually have cheating. You actually have cheating is like the end. Then what kind of cheating?
Other subsets of cheating.
You have fraud, you have corruption, you have manipulation. So which one do you want? So which one are you really talking about? So if you mean cheating, how do you want to classify cheating?
I get your point.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Fraud.
if you say bribery and corruption, then you can make a definition of that, and you know the essence is different from fraud, it's different from manipulation. So you pay differently. You don't put all together.
So what's it called? Abuse of medication or drugs is
cheating.
Is part of cheating. So you stand against it.
Yes.
Okay. So you can, for instance, be in a position to guide those who could be tempted to go astray.
Yes.
If given the opportunity.
Those who will go astray, who are going astray, who you don't want to let go astray. But that is not it. When you're talking about now, yes, Bose Kaffo went to school, she was opportune to have masters. What is she doing? How could she help?
Impact on.
That is it. When you're talking about sports science.
Okay, so we have a comment
Yes.
from Adebayo Oluwake again, and it says, I think Bose is referring to the scholarship from Team Nigeria Trust Fund,
Yes.
managed by Alhaji Sule Baba Ali.
Then.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it says that's the scholarship that you're talking about.
Fantastic.
And we all know that it doesn't exist anymore.
So unfortunate. Yeah.
So when you're talking about sports science, what do you mean by sports science? Where can you use sports science? How do you use sports science? Why do you want to use sports? Does sports science even exist in your philosophical knowledge? So the world is moving.
So we had better move with it, or we are left
better
behind.
move with it, or we are left behind.
And then we start.
And there is nothing going on that you don't need a sports scientist. You need philosophy, although philosophy is an art. You need the physiological part of it. You do more lab work. You can do, like, for example, you want to do the VO2 max or VVVO2, or you want to do just the VO2. You know that the VO2 max is supposed to be in the lab because it is more of a lab collection of data. The data can be your breath to breath or other things, or you want to do psychology. There are some objects that you use in psychology that you collect data. It's lab work. Or you want to do nutrition. When you want to do nutrition, it's not only because I'm feeding you, I have to tell you, you eat more carbohydrate because you are performing, or because you are a weightlifter, you need carbohydrate and protein or other things. No. Is what you are testing from the food. Then biomechanics. I did biomechanics. Biomechanics is about the movement of movement. So I want to know what's going on when you swing your hand in table tennis. I want to know what is going on. Do you have power in kicking that ball? What speed is the ball going? What velocity? Speed is different from velocity. Then you want to know how the displacement is. What power do you put, or what power can you add to that ball? What is the weight of the ball? How the force can connect. You want to know everything about it, and you want to analyze it.
And these are all the support that is given to our counterparts, our kids, counterparts in other countries in Europe, such that they excel over our own, where we just want to use brute force and yesterday's knowledge. I get your point.
You took the word out of my mouth because I wanted her to finish. I didn't want to break a chain of thought. Basically, you're saying that we don't do this in Nigeria.
I'm not saying we don't do this, because before.
Okay, what are you saying?
Before now.
Are we doing it?
If we do it, you will know.
Are we doing it now? Did we do it before?
Don't commit her.
No. You see, let's be clear on something.
She's on the board.
No. Oh, look, it's not about your position as a board member of the Lagos Sports Commission. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your journey as a sports scientist now. This part of this trip is called Bose the Sports Scientist.
Yes.
I love that coin.
We're very, very versed in this. Yomi Okmakule is my older colleague that I respect a lot, and I don't want to play around here. When it gets to certain things, there are things I would want to find out from him. We're doing this for tomorrow. We're not doing it for today. So that's why I have not bothered to ask you anything that has to do with your current position as a member of the Lagos State Sports Commission. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, okay, what I'm trying to do is for posterity that we have a Nigerian like yourself. I know a few other Nigerians who have certain qualifications that are not being used in Nigeria. I know someone who is a doctor of sports medicine. There are very few of them. But we're not using them. We're using them for basic things.
Yeah.
You understand? You bring someone who doesn't know anything about sports medicine and you make him the medical doctor for a sports team.
Exactly.
He doesn't know what to look out for. So I don't want to dwell on that. I want to focus on you.
Okay.
Your qualifications. Your life journey is intriguing. For a woman who has been through so much and is still standing, you're here. You have all of this. So please permit me to ask you again. Do you see us using the kind of knowledge you have? Have we used it or are we using it?
If they are using it,
You don't know about it.
I don't know about it.
Thank you.
And I want to say they should be using it.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's the point.
That's where
They
I'm
should be
going.
using
They
it.
should be using it
Because that's
because
why
right now, sport has gone beyond you giving me money. You should be asking me, but say, how much can you make for me
In sports.
in sports?
Now, please, for clarification, the you that Bose is referring to is the government. The government is the main sponsor of sports. But not government alone now. All the other corporates who put their money in sports.
Yes.
People need to realize that sports is a business.
In sport.
And now you're speaking my language because you're saying it's not just to give.
It's
Give.
no.
What can you give back?
For example, if I am going to any prospective sponsor now, there's one thing I'm looking for. It's just for you to say yes, and I will corner you. Now, this is where sport ethic and integrity comes in, and sport governance. Actually, the disability governance. So when we're talking about sport
Disability governance, we did that too.
yes, as my
And we have a
cities.
lot of
So when we are talking about sports governance, all these contractual contract, all these things, that is where the agreement they comes. That's where they come in, and where I want a sponsor or a partner to come in is this: what can you bring to the table? It's not just one day, one time. No, I know that boss. Okay, tell me, can we make 1 billion naira in 3 months? Okay, if I can make 1 billion naira for you in 3 months, I will give you 20% of it. Why do you want to take 20% of it? We should be at that level. I want to meet whoever can say, okay, boss, just tell me, can you give me this amount? And I will tell you, can you make this possible for me?
That's from managing
So if, for instance, we want to take
Yes.
it to the technical side, that okay, boss, can I give you, or can we give you 100 youngsters between ages 3 and 9, and in 10 years they're
Yes.
going to give us,
Yes.
we sign an agreement. In 10 years they're going to give us 10 gold medalists.
Yes.
I
That
don't
is
know.
where you will come in with developmental program, you come in with sporting, you come in with analytical forces, you come in with prediction. And to make a prediction, for example, in England, before we traveled to Luxembourg, they actually brought in 16 boys, 16 girls. I don't know any one of them because I'm the one doing sports science. And they know my field was biomechanics. So it was like, oh, boss, we know you to be a good table tennis, a good coach, but we want you to watch those ones, then come up with something for us. So I was able to say, this person can play in another 10 years, this particular player, and they gave me one of the players that was like, when you are going to A, he's facing B. So you can imagine with somebody who is in pain. I don't have the patience, but I learned it because that is where my money comes from.
So
Bose
Kaffo,
you need to be shaped.
you were given a challenge in England. Greenhorns, young players who didn't know anything about anything. And you're saying that a few years after,
Yes,
those
they
same
became,
people
yes,
defeated the Nigerian
Yes,
men's
yes,
national
yes,
team,
yes.
and they were still very young when they did that.
16, yes.
And these players, when they were brought to you, they were new, they were fresh.
They were fresh and they were not number 10 in the cadet.
Cadets.
Yes.
Okay, so let me push it a bit, still on the sports science lane.
Yeah.
So I want to domesticate it so that people know who we are with and the capacity. So I do remember that the World Cup before the last, yeah, The World
The
Cup.
Olympics before the last.
No. Where I'm going is football actually.
Football, okay, let's.
The Brazil World Cup.
Yeah.
The Brazil World Cup.
Mm.
I don't want to know how. I don't want to. That's not what interests me now. But I know that you are contacted to analyze assess the weightlifter. Some weightlifters.
That was Olympics.
Olympics. So it was in Olympics.
2016.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the same country anyway, so
Okay.
you are correct.
Rio.
This one is getting old now.
No, you're still correct. It was the same country.
You know, but that the Nigeria wanted to know from the pool of weightlifters we wanted to take down, what were our potentials?
Event.
Can you play me back that story? Because
yes.
it will eventually crystallize.
Yeah,
So I want you to.
because, you see, one thing about collecting data is that I could analyze it anywhere, any form I want to, or I could look at it to use to train people of the same kind in that particular sport. I may be looking at something different with other participants, but with a particular person, I made a collection and I look at what I need to look for. If we are looking at performance enhancement and the feedback to the coach for performance orientation, meaning the performance right now is because she can carry 200 kilos just to train, but can she carry the 200 kilos in competition when there is tension, when there is stress, when there are other outer forces, environmental forces? I mean, the forces is not spiritual now. The forces is like the noise. The forces is like pressure. The forces is we just are talking about the external forces that no mistake mind comes against it, psychological aspect of it, and the fact that that just that tension that will come in it. So the first thing that I want to look at is I want to look at the power. Does she have the power to do it? Does she have the strength? Strength is different from power. Then can she apply the force? Can she be trained to do the force? If she can she do it in a way that repeatedly? Can I have increase over time at a particular
To have the graph
stage?
going up.
Yes. So at a point, I want a plateau graph. And I want it to plateau for a long time. And at a point, I want it to go sharp up and plateau again. So when you are going for performance analysis in weightlifting, can our weightlifter, now I want to merge it with medal. After training, I should be able to say in 2 weeks, I want to see where do you stand. Then I realized that our best athletes could not be in 8 at a particular time. Maybe you are not number 1 to 8. And at a specific time, over training, you can be 8. And it will last. That is where the plateau will come, that at this time, come what may, you can stand there. So it was so obvious that our weightlifter then, Miriam, I told her, Miriam, you cannot do more than 8. And she was saying, Auntie Bose, I said, you cannot do more than 8. At this time, this is what you will do. It was what happened at the Olympics. In the All African Games, I didn't go. In the weightlifting, the African weightlifting, I did not go in Cameroon, but I was in the camp with them. And I have my report. I still have it. I said, the best player would not go to the Olympics. The best athletes will not actually go. But that person will be the best in Africa because of the performance. So the performance comes about the training. There are a lot of other things that I couldn't measure that I calculated. One thing is I can use machine to calculate it. The other thing is I can use the manual. Okay. So when I use the manual, you are talking about the friction. What's happened between the friction when you have to hold the barbell or you have to hold it there with weight, and so all those ones. So I was able to do it for a particular athlete.
I have two questions for you.
Yes.
Based on this, then
Yeah.
we move on.
Okay.
So sports science, your knowledge of sports science is not limited to a particular sport.
No.
It is sports across board.
Sports. Yes. I
You
should
have
be able to
answered that.
answer.
That's one. Two, how did you get involved with the assignment to analyze weightlifting ahead of the Olympics on the way to Brazil?
And let me just add to that second question. So tell us how many medals you eventually told them Nigeria was likely to win, and how many did you win eventually?
Because I was attached to the Paralympics when we went, but I was at home with all the team, both the able and the Paralympics. So for the able, I told Miss Angie Taylor there, because she was the performance director. I told her, because she told me, she sat with me, but said, what can we win? And I told her we can't win anything.
You told her up front.
Yes, I have it in my write-up. I still have it. We cannot win anything apart from football. That we cannot win anything. Then we were even. She was thinking that Essie Brown, that won the bronze medal at this last Olympic, could be a contention there. So by the time we did the analysis together, I went on the field to the athletes training, and I collected some athletics training data. I analyzed them. You know, the spike, the running,
technique,
the
everything.
the flight, everything. So I told them it doesn't match, because I did analyze the American trials, 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, the Trinidad and the Tobago, the Canada, the Britain.
You did all of this virtually.
Yes, I recorded
You had
them. I
access
still have
to
it.
the
Yes,
videos.
yes. I recorded it live because of the software I had, and then Miss Angie Taylor knew about that, because she was the one that even paid for the
Software subscription.
The subscription that I used. So I gave it to her, and then she was able to go, wow, we were even thinking that we have the chance in the long jump and in 400. I said, no, because these are the results for this group of people. So where do you stand?
Thank God for
So
that.
she was the one that brought you in to the system.
No, it was Nigeria, because I'm in Nigeria. So it was the Alazan was the DJ then. Yes, Alazan.
Yes.
Alazan, yes.
Yahmut.
Yahmut Alazan. So for the Paralympics,
Fantastic.
so that was where I worked with the Paralympians, because I was when I was doing my masters and part of my PhD, I actually worked with disability a lot, especially amputees.
Yeah.
So I should know how to work with disability, because I went to the mini Olympics in the Mondoville, and I did the analytics there. So definitely there it was just like playing.
But we must cover some grounds that people will not forgive us.
Yes.
Now I want to move on, because we will pick you once.
I just want to let you guys know that we have really gone over 1 hour.
Our bosses are forgiving us.
So we're moving swiftly now.
Yeah.
And Yomi Opapele has a list that we have to tick off.
Okay, so I know that at one point in time, I don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
I know that Stiga,
Yeah.
which was the #1 table tennis equipment brand in the world, chose you, I don't know how, to be their African representative for several years. Tell us briefly about that story, and if Nigeria took advantage of the fact that you were in charge.
Yes. When Stiga came to Nigeria, I was highly involved. But Stiga has been in Nigeria. It had been in Nigeria before, because people were using Stiga. But I wasn't using Stiga then. I was using Tiba. I was used to play for Tiba as a contract player. But Stiga coming, like you have somebody that is buying from them, that is really distributing from them. What I failed then to do was I couldn't distribute well, even in some other African countries, because of financial limitation there. And then it was just like new. So Stiga, I started bringing the Stiga in, selling the table at a particular price less than
the market value.
And you have rackets, all those things. So So sticker, we will say sticker is not really, we will say is the number one, but you have butterfly, you have Donic, you have a lot of products now.
Okay.
So sticker was there.
But you did your best.
I did my best.
Okay. So you also had periods where you gave back to
Your community.
your community, kind of people who were organizing things, developmental things for table tennis,
I
for
forgot-
girls,
actually,
for males,
yes,
for everywhere.
actually,
Can you remember some of them?
Yes, some. At first, I think I had clubs.
Okay.
I still have a club in disability, but hopefully I will be having in table tennis too. And yes, I just picked the interest, and I believe that what I was given, I can give back. For
Okay.
example, I believe that with those clubs, they like Homotayo
Yes.
was actually in my club.
Okay.
And
That-
for
that's
those of
Homotayo
you,
that is number 2 in Nigeria. now,
yes,
or that's
it's
better?
actually two. If it's fluctuating between 2 and 3, he's one of Nigeria's best table tennis players
Now,
at the moment.
yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Omota is now based, I think he's based in Italy now. He's playing professional table tennis, representing Nigeria here and there. Product of.
We must thank you. And I remember that somebody got in touch with me this morning.
Yes.
Didn't want you to know. Just said, where's Boom Radio? And I said, it's at OP. He said, oh, I'll be at the Keja. I thought it was at the Keja so that I could
Okay,
drop in
yeah,
and see
okay.
Bose Kaffo
Surprise.
again. She supported me so much. She went to Ibadan because of me.
Funke Treasure.
Funke Treasure.
I would really love to see her. Privately, personally, she actually helped my life. She actually helped me to come back to table tennis because I've called it quit
With the game.
with table tennis. Funke Treasure, somebody mentioned, say Mr. Yomel Kwakunle mentioned that she wanted to do something and that the only person you can call now is Bose Kaffo,
Bose.
but we are not sure because Bose was sick.
Yeah.
And Funke Treasure never looked back. She just believed that I could do something. And I remember that what I told her then was, don't worry about the coaching. I will let them be coached. Then we'll let the players play. And that was just it. You see, this is not about money. It's about commitment.
It's passion.
And Funke Treasure, I've never had Funke Treasure in sports
No,
before. But
She's a broadcaster.
she's a broadcast journalist.
Seasoned broadcaster.
yeah, she just picked that interest, you know, and I actually drew everything from it, that if somebody who doesn't even do anything that you are, and look at
And she has
it,
achieved this much.
just minimum, and it was just like, but what did she do? She did something. At that time, I was just coming back to life. And she was just there for me.
Hold that thought for a second. You're still listening to Boom Radio NG right here on it's the Boomba on boomradio.com.ng. Thank you. People are watching, giving us comments. We love you guys.
Thank you.
We're coasting home now. We're not stopping, but we're coasting home. But Funke Treasure, if Bose Kaffo says you are amazing, you are.
Yes.
You're a legend in your own right. Today, Tokumbo Ojakule wrote down your name.
Wow. And I didn't know that.
There's a list on that pad that he has there, and your name is on it. Because the Legend Series broadcast edition,
Yes.
we're going to kick it up next week, and your name is on that list. So this is the gods speaking, and the
Yes.
gods are wise. We know
Yes.
that.
So-
Even if I'm not a Kege, like our chief is, you know.
So during
So
the
let's
course
go.
of what you were saying, you tipped in and said, Funke said, somebody told her that, okay, we'll call him Bose Kaffo, but she's just recovering because she's been
That's where we
ill.
want to go now.
So that's where I want to go now.
Yeah.
Sir, what happened?
I had a brain surgery.
Before that, what happened that led to the brain surgery?
I just went out to actually represent Honorable Fashola at a wedding.
That's the former
Excellency,
governor of Lagos.
Yes.
Governor.
It was my governor. So
At that time, was he still the governor?
it was.
Yes.
And for everything in life, I will always say thank you to God and to Honorable Fashola It was so fantastic to have served with him. And
What capacity did you serve
Oh,
with
as the
Tunde Fashola
board member, and then
of the state sports
sport council.
council? Yeah.
Then I remember that we went for the wedding, and all I heard was just like a gunshot in my head,
Really?
and that was it. And
At a social event.
yes, and what I could recollect from that was that they were supposed to come and pick my dead body. That they have already packed me somewhere, and they were discussing who will come and sign the death certificate. That was when they heard a scream. Somebody was shouting, "She is up! She is up! She is up!" That's how I'm alive today. But I wasn't alive like that. I was living like a vampire. If I'm going straight, I'll be going this way. If I'm going, because
What's that? Please don't gloss over it. You were at an event representing the governor of Lagos State with other
Then.
friends,
Then governor.
the then governor,
Yeah.
and
and
according
with the
to
other
you,
board members, some of the
according
board
to you,
members,
there was a loud bang like a gunshot,
yes, like a gunshot,
and that was all you could
and that
remember.
was all I could remember.
Just collapsed.
Now,
I just-
the people around now told you
Yeah.
that they had put your body. That means you had
They-
passed out,
Yes, I was.
and they had assumed that you had died.
Yes,
You were presumed dead.
dead. Yes,
Bose Kaffo.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
What year was this? Do you remember?
2011,
2011.
around August.
Yes.
Then at
August
some
19.
point,
You were brought back to
you
Nigeria.
came to.
I just came back to life, and everything was over.
And from there,
From there,
were you taken to an hospital?
they actually took me to an hospital, and then in Ghana.
It was outside Nigeria.
It was
Yes.
outside Nigeria. I was in Ghana, and Mrs. Tayo Popola, she was fantastic. She's a sister, and I hope she's listening. She'll be crying,
Yeah.
And the former Agbola, Dabiri, they were just, Bose will not die, Bose will not die. No. So, but this is it. They were able to bring me back to Nigeria. And
I know you are struggling because some of that you lost
yes,
memory.
That is one thing we need to appreciate Mr. Fashola for. You see all those hospitals on the road, I was taken to one of them with that lag bus vehicle, ambulance. I was kept alive inside one of those. And I was taken to that lag.
One of the health centers.
Yes. On the road.
Primary health center.
This
Yeah.
primary health center. And then everybody from there, they now took me to Lasso.
Lawsuit.
It was
Secondary.
in
That's
Lasso.
where
I was
Tertiary.
there. I
That's
was
when I
in
went to
Lasso.
check her.
Yeah, that was when I couldn't even
You couldn't
remember
recognize me.
him,
Didn't know
you know.
anything.
But what I was told was, you have a brain damage, that you are bleeding from your brain. And I was just looking at that. I didn't even cry. And I remember there was a doctor that would come. There's no lady governor sacked me. Mrs. Bose must be okay. Bose, so Governor Fashola, make sure my surgery went well.
Where?
In India. I was in India for almost 3 months. I did everything. And coming back, I couldn't stay then. They've changed the commissioner. It was Commissioner Oshodi then who told me I can go. I shouldn't be bothered, just to take care of myself. I left to the UK. My late sister came to pick me to America, just for me not to be alone, because I may
You were
not
still
know what
recovering.
is.
Yes, you were
was
doing it.
You were
recovering.
still going through
I
the
was
process
still
of
in the process
recuperation.
yeah.
Yes, and
So,
getting back our
getting back
sensibility
my
with our environment. You
with the
didn't know
environment. I didn't
what
know
was around
myself.
that again.
So it was after a while in the US that I just felt I overstayed in the US. I wanted to go back to the UK. I'm not used to it. Then my sister was like, "You want to go and kill yourself?" And I left her. And I got back to the UK. I did the post-surgery, everything. They told me, "Are you sure you had the brain surgery? You have this?" It was clean. Even though I was still feeling on
You did MRI, everything.
everything. The government of the United Kingdom paid for it, everything. I couldn't achieve that. Even to take, I wrote a letter to Honorable Shodi. Then I'm yet to receive anything.
No response.
No
Now.
response till now. But I thank God.
And you didn't
that
forget the
I
fact
didn't
that
forget the
the
fact
first
that
surgery
the
in,
first
in,
surgery
India,
in India
and taking you back from Ghana and everything was Babatunde
Raji
Fashola. SAM.
You know,
Please
so-
take a bow wherever
so-
you are.
so,
Take
you
a
know,
bow.
you
You are
know,
wonderful. So many people don't know.
But this, you see, there must be a start to a recovery. If the surgery didn't come, I was dead because I was bleeding in my brain. And if I'm alive today, it's to the glory of God. And I will forever never forget Mr. Fashola. I remember when the doctor came, he said, how this, he will sack me, don't let him sack you. Know,
Yeah.
I was like, what is wrong with this man? I was even sitting, I was just sleeping, looking at him, but I could feel it. Life is vital.
This was the area of your surgery?
Yes, the area of my surgery is on top of my oblongata. It is the base of the balance. So I suffer balance for a long time.
You got it? That's what I wanted to bring out of you.
Balance, because
Yeah.
I'm beside I could
You have to
remember
learn
where-
how to.
So I relearned.
She was always walking
learning.
like this.
I relearned
No, balance.
learning.
I used to
I
go and check
relearned walking.
Moto, everything.
I couldn't drive for 4 years because in the UK they didn't allow me. So I was doing the test. I did that test to ascertain that I can drive again. The doctors must ascertain that I can drive. I have that sensitivity to drive. I won't be shocked. But then I was doing my PhD. I won't be shocked
At
when
that
there
same
was-
time?
Yes. I won't be when there was on. I won't go blank. I won't get anything. That was divine. That is divine healing. So I thank God and I thank everybody.
See,
Yeah.
Bose, at this point, I not only thank God for you, because in this triangular picture I want to paint, you are the last. No, you are not the last. Okay. I thank God for your life. Then I thank God for the life of Shola Rogers, who also, had a taste of near going, and God revived him. And I thank God for my life.
Glory
I'm a
be to
living
God.
miracle.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So I can feel you. And
You know the
we
funny
thank
thing
God
is,
for
it's
you.
as if this panel was selected. we have some things in common, right?
And our God that is sitting at the back, we thank God for
For his life too. He's there
Because God
behind the
is just
camera.
marvelous. So
God-
as we do what we do, we mustn't forget God. He's
Yeah.
the one that gives the talent.
Yes.
He's the one that gives you skills, that makes you grab the skills. He's the one that guides your life. So we must always thank God.
I mean, after that, during those processes, the Lord embraced me. It's not that I embraced God. You can see the life of an athlete. Some almost 9% don't even know what is God.
Yeah.
Who is God?
There's no time for
There's
it.
no time for it. But I am saying God embraced me,
Looked for you and,
looked for me,
and
and
captured you.
captured me to Himself. And that is where I'm going to die forever.
Amen.
I'm not living. So I have now. I can have whatever academic I want to be, but my spiritual life, just to honor God, can never be shaken. Except when I feel I don't have that faith, and I don't think I will. If so far God is, the faith is there. Even when I'm shaken, it's good to be shaken, to be touched, so to know whether you are still standing. So the temptation, the storm will come. They always come, but as an eagle, you fly above it.
Wow.
That is just it. And if I want to demonstrate, is when you let me do what I can do most. When you let the eagle fly in the storm, they start to demonstrate their wings, their skills. So I just want to be grateful to God.
We have 9 minutes, Yomi, and in 9 minutes, I hope we'll still be able to bring it home. Now you're working on a project.
A lot of projects.
What is it about? Let the world know.
I'm talking about my own kind of projects. For example, you're thinking about where do you want to start? Do you want to start on table tennis? Or do you want to start in sports academy? Or do you want to start in sport governance? Do we really embrace sport governance? Are we really practicing sport governance? Or do we have sports politics? I want to be in sport politics
Mm.
because I've not seen more sport fanatic,
Okay.
sport athletes really embracing politics.
Mm.
We are always hiding under the politicians. Look at what happened to where he became a president
Of Liberia.
from Liberia. So how come he was? He is now a president.
And
Where
Samuel
was
Eto'o
this?
is
Samuel
now the
Eto'o is
FA.
now the FA. So
But here
in Nigeria,
push
I've
down
not
them, but we
seen,
push down all
I've
the
not
people that want
seen
to be
an
there.
athlete apart from Igali.
Hmm.
And Igali, we can debate it well.
If he didn't go to Canada, I'm not sure
Yes.
he would have become the president of the
I'm
Wrestling
telling you
Federation.
there because it's not a shaped thing. So politics is not for just an entity.
Okay, so can we start with what they call low-hanging fruits? Because I know that you had a project, and I think you still have the project.
Yes.
At that time, you wanted to see how Lagos could embrace it.
Come
or
on
whatever.
board.
And it was about first. You were telling me at that time that it is a fit person that can go into sport and excel. So what you wanted was the 5 divisions of Lagos to have places where they could go and do fitness and everything. The equipment to be there.
We
then
actually mix and mess things up
Mm.
with language.
Okay,
There is difference between health.
okay,
There is difference between fitness.
okay,
There is difference between exercise
okay.
and physical activities. Physical activity is actually the overhack title
Okay.
for all the other, and health is like another jurisdiction. So everything should be for your health. But when you're talking about sport, that means that physical activity can be tailored to sport. So you have sport performance, all those ones. You need to know the difference between fitness for sport, fitness for health, and fitness for performance. What do you do as sports? What is the meaning of sports?
Okay.
You have esports. Do you use your physical activities to do esports?
No.
More the brain than the
It's more the brain. Does the brain, that is the debate we had. Is the brain contesting? Because one thing about physical activities and exercise and sport must be context. Is it going to be physical or brain? Which one how do you define it? So now, if you want to have sports performance centers, it's different from a fitness center because you have a lot of fitness centers. For example, I have seen a lot of somewhere called fitness gym all
around the place, yeah.
around the place. Are we fitness fanatic in Lagos alone or all over Nigeria? That is where you want to know where your money will be. Is it just because you have the money so you put it there, or do we have more people that can manage it? So we must define that. So when we are talking about my project is based on performance.
Okay.
And now it will be more on sports political governance.
Okay.
So it's a project that I have to make sure it comes to life.
Okay. And you'll
So-
be glad that the corporate sponsors come in to
Yes,
join you.
I will be, yes.
You will be ready to upfront say this is our target.
Yes.
And we will meet this target once you sign in, and at the end, let's review and see whether I meet it or
Yes,
surpass
yes, sure.
it or
That
whatever.
is just all
Fantastic.
about
We
it.
hope that corporate Nigeria will embrace you when you come. We will do our best, and
That
I
is
trust
what
the
you
Boom
call.
Radio.
That's what you call sports governance.
Okay.
When you see sports governance,
Okay.
are we, sport corporate governance is about the government coming to embrace, interfere into the affair of sport and helping the sport in order to be of a benefit to all the inhabitants that are actually doing sport. And you are using sport as a sport thing to encourage people. And also, you want to use sport as a capacity building, as an empowerment. And surely sport should be a capacity building palaver.
And of course, that means it will discourage people
It
from
is
going
the people
into.
for, yes.
So as we're about rounding up, can I ask you in 1 minute about the Olympians and the ex-internationals. Nigerian Olympians in Nigeria, the body.
The
and
Olympians, yes, the Olympians,
ex-internationals
yes.
generally,
Yes.
whatever sport.
You see, you are talking about ex-internationals are different from Olympians.
Okay.
Olympians are those that have participated.
In
It's not that you are in a team and you are not running. It's that you participate in the team and you've been to that Olympics. So you are an Olympian. You are an Oli. So at the back of your name, instead of you having MON, you have OLY.
OLY. Okay.
In capital.
Okay.
It's a respected
Globally.
title.
Okay.
Globally.
Do we have an association in Nigeria?
Well, of course we do. I'm
Okay.
a deputy secretary.
Fantastic. Who's
But
the
then
president?
It's Olumide Oyedeji.
Olumide Oyedeji. Okay.
So also the intention those people that couldn't make it to the Olympics, but they can be better even than the Olympians.
Okay. So would you
So
like the
that's
government?
the ex-international.
Yeah, they are. I'm
So
also
there's a
an
group
ex-
like that.
There's a group like that.
So would you what would be your advice for government about Olympians and ex-international? How to make the best use of them? They are here now. They are alive.
See, if
And
you
in
go
other
to the
countries, they are
Olympics,
making them
you are an
great.
international, ex-international, because it's an international competition you will go for. And you have been going for it. So let me address the government concerning ex-international. The government should please, in one way or the other, see to the life, to the welfare of the ex-athletes. Because one, how many ex-athletes are coaches now? How many of the ex-athletes are even sport administrators now? Seasonal or full-time sport administrators. And also you cannot blame them. You can't blame the government. Do we really put ourselves in the market? That is, after our career, we are aiming to do some. Look at those people, Cecilia Areye, Tonya, look, all those things. You know, they have their own career and they are not waiting for the government. And it's not that they can't work for the government. Those that worked with the government, they are still finding something to do with the government. But when we have a market of ex-internationals that the government can say, I'm good, like you have the secretary pools, you have the PS pools, so why can't we have as national pools?
It's been wonderful having Bose Kaffo around. You can never have enough with her. You can never tap enough from her.
No.
But she'll always be there somewhere to tap into. We thank you for coming to
Thank you so much.
Boom Radio. We hope
It's
you've
my
had time
pleasure.
2 times. And I said I hope you've had a good time the 2 times
Yes,
you've been here.
yes.
And I can assure you on behalf of the board of directors of Boom Radio and the CEO here, humble like you, he's looking for himself, you know, and our bosses, I can assure you that if you have something, because we know you are deep and you are not flippant with ideas or with words. Whatever you want that you want to project to the world, they haven't asked me to do this, but I'm saying that please just ask them. I'm sure they will be there for you.
Oh, wait. Thank you so much.
110%.
Thank you so much.
Last week we were able to give you your certificate and your
I want to
plaque.
thank you for giving
But
me that.
today we're just going to be able to say like this. We toast with you. Mom. Hey, hey, hey. Ah. You come into the shot, Jerry.
It's a bar.
It's really a boom radio. Boom, boom.
You know, boom radio, boom bar, and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We hope you like your plaque and your certificate.
Yes, I really
and we're
love
hoping to do more.
Pastor, here you are. I've opened this one for you.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
We removed
Watch your laptop.
We removed the branding because
your-
they are not paying us.
Tap.
For 2 years, we've been carrying free brand on this table.
Don't mind them.
You people still did not pay us. Okay now. Okay now.
I guess you see, there is one thing between sports and branding,
Yes.
and yet I am on a platform called Foods.
Okay.
Foods.
It's where you have all the season sport administrators and it's been fabulous, you know, sharing ideas among themselves. Sometimes, of course, I'm always
Just
fight
reading.
because it's just reading, but one way or the other is either you're great or so. You know, sports branding is another business, and you need to tackle it more, because I know that there will be lots of your kinds, and that is where you see another contest. Maybe you know how to do that.
Okay. Shola will finally do the vote of thanks officially and sign off the program. But I'd like to quickly ask that would you be amenable to a strategic alliance with Boom Radio NG
I was thinking of that since last.
on issue of capacity building, where we look at areas that people can benefit from your repertoire, rich repertoire, and we collaborate and people come and they benefit and they take it to other places.
Yes.
We train the trainers, kind of, not the general population. Train the trainers. Will you be amenable to it?
Yes, I
Cool.
will.
I'll
But
take that.
if you are talking about train the trainers,
Mm.
train the trainers supposed to be my. You know, you need to know why you need to train the trainers.
Yes.
Do you even have people that the trainers will train?
Food for thought. But we take it from there. I just dropped it. And then the second one is, this one is, again, he didn't ask me for this. But as a passionate Nigerian, it's always in my mind, and we're kind of close. What would be your advice to Samson Siasia at the sport?
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Already the final verdict has happened. They've reduced it, but because you have psychology and everything in you, how will you like to advise him to manage the period and then transit to a greater eagle, like you said?
It will be tough for him to trust. I will talk as an ethic officer now.
Okay.
So, as ethic officer, is he coming out clean? And not only clean, I want to see how it can be adopted. Will we adopt him based on this report? Where is it going to? What is the standard of those people? Because environment can cause you to repeat what you have done before in sport. So where are you going to? Are they taking you? Why are they taking you? In what capacity will you be working? Are you going to be engaged with the same people? Why should you be engaged with the same people? And why not? Who is ready to take you, by the way? So all those things, and who should not take you, by the way?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That must be boss's phone buzzing.
Yeah.
People are how to reach her, but she can't take their calls until we are out.
In a few seconds, you will. So once again, we would like to say a big thank you to people who are watching, people who have clicked on the stream, people who have been a part of this, behind the scenes, Dolupo, Cornelius, all the other guys working behind the scenes, making things happen. God bless you guys. God guide you. God keep you. And Bose Kaffo, thank you for blessing us. And thank you for being so gracious, so humble, so supportive, you know. And yes, another timely message just dropped in. It said, thanks, Bose, for sharing your perspectives. Thanks, Boom Radio. And that's from Adebayo Arts. That's Adebayo Oluwake.
Thank you so
Wow, all the way
much.
from Jordan.
Oh, he has stayed glued to his device, and he's watching on YouTube.
Thank
So
you, bye.
thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much.
Thank you to everybody.
Thank you
The
to
only thing we
everybody.
have to say is thank you.
And be sure that when we come with another legend, he or she is still going to be legendary.
Yes.
My name is Yomi Opakman. I'm signing out.